Okay, welcome back to the bright side. We're talking fats and protein. Actually, we left off talking about essential fatty acids. Got a couple more things to talk about EFAs, essential fatty acids, before we get to our next topic, which is a really, really interesting growth, anti-aging, repair, sugar metabolizing, heart strengthening amino acid that you can use to help put on muscle, you can use to help lose weight, you can use to help heal wounds, you can even apply this stuff topically for burns. We'll talk about that here, probably get to it later today or maybe tomorrow. Last we spoke, we were talking about EFAs, and specifically we were talking about essential fatty acid-rich chia seeds. Love chia seeds. I got a whole bunch of them in my pantry. I make puddings out of these things. I put them in my smoothies. You got to soak them a little bit first. Like all seeds, they got a hard coating on the surface, and that keeps the fats and all the nutrients from being accessible. So you want to soak your chia seeds or grind your chia seeds. As far as EFAs go, you're going to get lots of omega-3s. These are rare, much rarer essential fatty acids, if that's a word, rarer essential fatty acids than omega-6s. There's basically two nutritional fats that are must-haves. Remember, whenever you hear that word essential, as in essential nutrients, or essential amino acids, or essential fatty acids, or essential sugars, what we're talking about is must-haves. Stuff like air. Well, just like air is essential, fatty acids, or these two fatty acids anyway, are essential. They're just like air. There's no option. No option when it comes to air or oxygen. There's no option when it comes to essential fatty acids. Without EFAs, essential fatty acids, all kinds of health problems can ensue, especially on the skin. Dry skin, rapid sunburning, irritation, acne, psoriasis. These are all likely to occur under conditions of essential fatty acid deficiency. Itching, chronic pruritus is that's the scientific name for itching, is likely to occur if you have essential fatty acid problems. If you have any fatty problems, really, folks with liver disease or gallbladder issues can tell you that itching is a chronic and very common side effect of having your gallbladder removed, or having liver problems, or having any kind of bile or fat problems. From an internal perspective, any inflammatory issue, that means any issue, because all health crises have an inflammatory component, so basically any health issue is likely to follow an EFA deficiency. You think that makes the ultimate EFAs important? You better believe it does, and that's why it is part of the Healthy Start Pack side by side with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. EFAs get turned into other chemicals. They get turned into chemicals of inflammation and anti-inflammation. So you got your fat, your essential fatty acid, that is, and inside your body it can get converted biochemically into a master chemical. I call them a master chemical. They're technically, scientists call them eicosanoids, and these master chemicals or eicosanoids control all the inflammatory and anti-inflammatory processes in the body. There's no inflammation and there's no anti-inflammation without these EFA-derived molecules or chemicals. That means EFAs are the master nutrients when it comes to inflammation, which is pretty much all health issues, and anti-inflammation. And it's a balance. EFAs, omega-6 EFAs, two kinds of EFAs, omega-6, omega-3s. Omega-6 EFAs get turned into the molecules of inflammation, and omega-3s get turned into the molecules of anti-inflammation. Unless you think that you want to stay away from inflammation, think again, because inflammation actually means healing. When we talk about inflammation as being associated with disease, associated with degeneration, we're really talking about excess inflammation, hyperinflammation, inflammation that's out of balance, inflammation that's running amok, inflammation that's out of control. And so inflammation is important, but you got to balance it with anti-inflammation. Thus, the ratios or the proportions of omega-6s to omega-3s are really, really important. And natural foods are going to contain roughly the right, well, I shouldn't say that. Hemp seed contains roughly the right amount of proportion. The right proportion of omega-6s to omega-3s. Natural foods will have more of one, more of the other. Most nutritionists advise 2 or 3 or 4 parts of omega-6 for every 1 part of omega-3, although no one knows for sure. So anywhere 2 to 3, 4 or 4 parts of your 6s to 1 part of your 3s. Your 6s are pretty much found in all grains. They're much more common in nature. Omega-3s are much rarer in nature. Seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, which we'll talk about here in a second, and fish will contain some omega-3s. That's why you want to make sure that you're using fish oil or eating fish and getting your master omega-3s, that is, from flax seeds or from chia seeds. Last program we were talking about chia seeds as being a rich source of omega-3s. A couple more things I want to say about that. Omega-3 chia seeds taste great. They're a great source of nutrition. They're packed with the B vitamins. They're packed with protein, and they're a really good source of fiber, especially a type of fiber called soluble fiber. There's two kinds of fiber, the kind that dissolves in water and the kind that doesn't dissolve in water. The kind that dissolves in water is called soluble, hence from the idea that it dissolves in water. Soluble fiber, you put it in water, stir it up, it goes right in. Soluble fiber is really interesting for the immune system, really helpful for the immune system. Soluble fiber can have good skin health benefits too. I sometimes use soluble fiber in my skincare formulations. I particularly like one type of soluble fiber, and you don't see it very much in skincare products. I put it in my sunscreen formulations. I put it in anti-aging formulations. It's got anti-wrinkle benefits. It's called Arabinogalactan, and that's spelled Arabinogalactan. Arabinogalactan. It's got lots of good literature to support its use as a growth stimulant. It helps improve wrinkles, and also, as I say, it's kind of like a booster shot for the skin's immune system to protect the skin from the sun. I use it as a sun protection ingredient in a non-SPF fashion. Now, SPF is a measurement of skin burning. That's not the only way you can protect yourself from the sun. We have this idea that if you just protect yourself from burning, or if you use an SPF, I should say, you're going to get all the benefits that you need from sun protection, but that's not true. SPF only protects your skin from burning, but it doesn't really protect your skin as much from aging and from wrinkle formation and from DNA damage and from skin cancer. Hang tight, because there was an interesting story in the news that came out about SPF and melanoma. I'll tell you about that when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. Okay, I don't know how many of you guys caught this article that came out, actually came out on Thursday in The Guardian. And it was based on a study that appeared in the journal Nature. It was headlined, High Factor Sunscreen Cannot Give Complete Protection Against Skin Cancer. Study in mice finds that SPF 50 SPF 50 cream only reduces DNA damage, increasing the length of time before melanoma develops, but it does not reduce the risks. It doesn't protect against melanoma. At least it can't be relied upon to protect against melanoma. This is so important to understand, because we have this idea that skin cancer, melanoma, which is actually a cancer of pigment-making cells in the skin, not really skin cancer per se. In any case, we have this idea that you just put on your sunscreen and you don't get your skin cancer. That's not the case. Melanoma, which is the deadliest, which is a deadly form of cancer, actually, melanoma rates are increasing, even though we're all wearing lots of sunscreen, according to this study anyway. SPF 50 doesn't even really afford complete protection. What does that tell you? It tells you that melanoma and skin cancer, actually, in general, is really not just an issue of the sun. Like all cancers, cells in the skin, whether they're pigment cells causing melanoma or skin cells that cause carcinomas, either way, skin cancer and cancers require a toxic environment. This is what causes cancer, a toxic environment. And it shouldn't be illogical. It shouldn't be unlogical or non-logical. If cells are toxic and suffocated, same thing that causes all disease. All disease is cell disease, and all cell disease is toxicity, starvation, suffocation, all leading to inflammation. So whether you're talking about an autoimmune problem or acne or heart disease or whatever, cancer too, you're simply talking about cells that are starved, cells that are suffocated, cells that are toxic, and then inflamed, micro-inflamed, and then more toxicity, starvation, and suffocation. This is so important to understand, because it simplifies everything. It simplifies cancer, it simplifies autoimmune disease, it simplifies all health crises. And that's really what The Bright Side is about. It's about simplifying disease so we can reverse it. It's just three things we got to worry about, whether we're talking about cancer, whether we're talking about atherosclerosis, or whatever we're talking about. Inflammation, secondary or following starvation, suffocation, toxification. Why is this important? It's because we have control at this level. We don't need doctors or pharmacists or surgeries or drugs or insurance companies at this level. At this level, all we got to do is make sure we're getting the Mighty 90 essential nutrients. We made it real easy for you to do that. That means if you have a thyroid problem, if you have a skin disease, if you, God forbid, have cancer, if you have a digestive problem, if you have anything at all, get on the Healthy Start Pack. Get on the Mighty 90. Start sipping the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Is that all you need to do? No. You got to do other things as well. You got to make sure that the stream of toxicity that comes into the body, largely, mostly through the digestive system, is also eliminated. So you get your Healthy Start Pack, you start focusing on the digestive system. That means eliminating problem foods and using digestive nutrients. And then thirdly, you make sure you're oxygenating appropriately, deep breathing. That's pretty much it, you guys. Eliminating the stream of toxicity, even if it means fasting. Number one. Secondly, make sure you patch up the digestive tract. Number two, that takes care of the toxicity element, although certainly you can breathe toxins in and potentially they can get in through the skin. But for the most part, if you take care of your digestive issues, building the digestive system and eliminating problem foods, you can take care of that toxicity leg, if you will, of the triangle of disease, or the 3 points. I don't want to say the triangle of disease, but the 3 points: starvation, suffocation, toxification. So correct digestive problems, build the digestive system, Z-radical, digestive enzymes, lecithin, bile salts, lots of ways, hydrochloric acid. There's lots of ways to build up the digestive tract. Eliminate the stream of digestive problem-inducing foods. That's the toxicity side. Make sure you're deep breathing. Make sure you're breathing in correctly and out correctly. That's the oxygenation side. Also, exercising, moving your body can help improve oxygenation. And then the third side is the nutrition side. Making sure you're on the Mighty 90 essential nutrients, using the Healthy Start Pack. Making sure you're getting your essential fatty acids, your essential amino acids, your essential vitamins. Essential means you have to have them. And that's pretty much it. There's not a single drug on the planet that can do that can reverse degenerative disease. How did it ever become the medical model's role to help us with our degenerative disease crisis, which are largely lifestyle, which are for the most part lifestyle issues? Where did the medical model get the cojones to interface, to interfere, to stick its nose in our business? Why did we become complicit? Why did we abdicate responsibility over our God-given right and ability to handle our lifestyle issues, to eat correctly, to supplement, to breathe correctly, to eliminate toxicity? This is none of the medical model's business, although, for whatever reason, financial and economic reasons, mostly, the medical model will take as much power as it can. But we don't have to let it. We don't have to abdicate it. And that's what this program is about. So anyway, SPF, sun protection factor, high SPF or not, is not going to protect you from skin cancer and melanoma, and it's not going to protect you from aging either. It's important. Protection from the sun is important in the sense that you don't want to burn. And SPF is only a marker of burning. There's a lot more to skin aging than burning. You can use an SPF of 100, but there's going to be damage to your skin if your skin's immune system is somehow affected. If you have an immune system that's compromised in any way, or immune system that's sensitized in any way, it doesn't matter if you use an SPF. SPF's only for burning. It's not for aging. It only is going to have a moderate effect against cancer. And you can age and you can get cancer, SPF or not. So you've got to keep your skin defenses strong. A smart sunscreen formulation is going to have lots of immune boosters in it. It's going to have vitamin C in it. A good sunscreen formulation will have vitamin A and phytonutrients and soluble fiber, like Arabinogalactan, which is what we were talking about before we went to break. Another one I like, by the way, another soluble fiber is called beta-glucan, and I use that in a lot of skincare formulations as well. So when you're picking a sunscreen, don't just look for a high SPF. Look for nutritional and biochemicals, active biochemicals that support skin defenses separate from protecting from burning. SPF's only for burning, but there's other ways the skin can be damaged, and using vitamin C, phytonutrients, beta-glucan, Arabinogalactan. These are all ways that you can boost skin defenses in a non-SPF fashion. Chia seeds have lots of these soluble fibers in them, and that makes them a great immune system boosters, in addition to being a great source of omega-3 fats. Chia seeds are also a good source of protein. And one of the neatest things about chia seeds is their gel-like quality. Because of their soluble fiber content, chia seeds can absorb water like hyaluronic acid, that hard-to-pronounce chemical. It's in the skin. It's used in fancy eye creams and fancy skincare products. Hyaluronic acid swells when it contacts water. It can absorb a lot of water. So can the soluble fibers that are in chia seeds, and that makes them really good for thickening skincare products, and that also makes them good for thickening stews and thickening soups and smoothies as well. All right, hang tight. We're coming back with more good health information. Our number today is 855-660-4261. We do have a couple lines open for you. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back right after this. Got a letter here from Freddy who says, my wife has thyroid and skin problems. She can't even wear shorts because of her skin on her legs. She's an African American. It causes a lot of itching to her skin. She also has a weight issue and high blood pressure. Was thinking about having that weight loss surgery. I assume he means stomach stapling surgery. Do you think this will help? No, it won't help, because your wife doesn't have a stomach problem. She doesn't have a weight problem primarily. She has a chemistry problem. If you got a thyroid problem, skin problems are going to follow. The issue is the thyroid first and foremost. Now, if she's gaining weight, that's because the sluggish thyroid isn't allowing her to burn fat. When the thyroid starts to slow down, everything slows down. That means you're going to gain weight. That means your body's chemistry is going to slow down in general. That means you're going to have skin problems, and that means you're going to have digestive problems, you're going to have fat problems, and you're likely to have itching problems. But the problem is not the thyroid, and the problem is not the itching. Those are the signs of the problem, the symptoms of the problem. We want to get to the root of the problem, Freddie, and that always means the digestive system and the blood sugar system. Freddie says his wife has high blood pressure. She also has does he say sugar? He doesn't say sugar issues here, but I'm sure she has blood sugar issues as well. So, Freddie, here's what you're going to do. And it isn't complicated, because it's the same thing we talk about all the time on this program. And hang tight if you're on the phones. We'll get to you in a minute. Freddie, you want your wife to track her problems, to focus on digestive health issues first. That means look for problem foods, eliminate them. And how do you look for problem foods? Connect foods to digestive symptoms like heartburn, bloating, gas, diarrhea, constipation, loose stools, etc. And then eliminate those foods. Then secondly, start to patch up the gut. Start to patch up the digestive tract. That means using the Z Radical from Longevity, which is a spectacular supplement for all digestive health issues. It's multifunctional. It's good for the immune system, for the blood system, for the skin, but it's really, really excellent for coating the digestive tract. So get on the Z Radical. Use digestive enzymes after all meals. Activate them with some apple cider vinegar. You can get betaine HCl or HCl pills at the health food store if you want to support that, or apple cider vinegar can do the acid trick. Can help support acid in the stomach too. She may want some lecithin. Sounds like she may have some fat metabolizing problems. That's what I think of when I think of itching on the skin. And make sure you're using the essential fatty acids in the Healthy Start Pack and the entire Mighty 90. She may also want to try some of the Sweeties product to help stabilize the blood sugar. And you can do other things to stabilize blood sugar as well. Something called alpha lipoic acid is really effective for stabilizing blood sugar, and then minerals, selenium, OPC, the ultimate selenium from Longevity, can help stabilize blood sugar. And then we're going to talk tomorrow about a really neat amino acid that's got blood sugar stabilizing properties. So tune into the bright side tomorrow. Long story short, Freddie, your wife or anybody who's got a skin problem doesn't have to have it in the next few days if they start to do something different. Number one, focus on the digestive system, stabilize the blood sugar, and then make sure that you're eliminating problem foods, anything that causes digestive distress. Okay, 855-660-4261 is our number. Let's go to Kevin in Florida. Welcome to the bright side. What's up, Kevin? How you doing?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I got a question for you about fatigue.
Okay.
And been having that for quite a while. And concentration issues.
Okay.
I've been on the tangy tangerine off and on for about 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
And taking osteo-FX.
Okay. All right, here's the deal. Here's the deal. First of all, Beyond Tangy Tangerine is only going to work when you're on it, not when you're off it, just so you know. I know you probably know that, but I'm just pointing that out. Secondly, and this is the most important thing, fatigue, mental health issues, concentration problems, ADD or ADHD they call it now, all of these issues are secondary issues, maybe even tertiary, maybe third. They're not primary issues. Now, if you go to the doctor and tell him you got fatigue and concentration problems or mental health issues or any of that stuff, he's going to treat it like that's the primary problem, and you're going to get some kind of drug. You'll get Adderall or you'll get Dexedrine or, some kind of prescription medicine, because the doctors don't distinguish secondary problems from primary problems. Thus, you'll still have your primary issue, and even if you're drugged out and masking the secondary issue, you still got the breakdown going on. So we got to get to the primary issues. There is a major link between digestive health and brain health. When our digestive system is whacked out, what ends up happening is we get changes in the bacterial population in the small intestine, and gases start to be emitted that can affect mental health. It can affect the brain. Gases that are emitted into the blood eventually are going to affect the brain. You can also get changes in blood sugar that will affect the brain following digestive distress. So first and foremost, focus on digestive health issues. That's always the first thing you want to do. Now, Kevin, because you understand what I mean when I say fatigue issues and mental health issues are secondary, not primary? Do you understand what I mean when I say that?
I think so, but I think
they
my
follow.
point is, right.
They follow other things. They follow other things. So let me ask you a couple questions. And I'm asking you this so you can see how this is done on your own. You won't even need me, and for anybody listening can see how this is done. So Kevin presents to me or to wherever he goes for healthcare with fatigue and concentration. If he's a standard medical practitioner, they're going to take Kevin's fatigue and mental concentration issues as a primary problem. They're going to treat that. But what we want to do is we want to get to the root of it. So we have to ask Kevin, you need to find other symptoms, especially digestion. That's the most important thing. So do you notice any digestive problems? And sometimes we don't notice them. So if you don't notice them, then you got to find them, because there's no fatigue problem and concentration problem without some underlying digestive issue. But if you know where they are, then you're ahead of the game. Then you got a head start on solving the problem. So anything you notice, bowel movement problems, gas, bloating, heartburn, are there foods you have a problem with? Do you have a history of problem foods? Anything along those lines?
Yeah, and definitely have some digestive issues. In fact, my gastroenterologist is trying to tell me that I have Crohn's, which I don't think I have.
Don't worry about the name. It doesn't matter. The name doesn't matter. Right. You could. Don't worry about the diagnosis. The fact that you know that there's issues there is huge, Kevin. Huger than huge. So
can I make one other comment?
Sure.
What seems to be the adding to the problem is when I do take supplements, particularly when they have MSM in it or tryptophan, things like that.
Yeah.
The fatigue is tremendously greater, and that's why I've gone off of the tangy tangerine. Is that when I stay on it, the fatigue seems worse.
Okay, no problem. We got an absorption problem. We got to focus on the absorption issue. Okay. Now it's unfortunate if you feel like the BTT is causing you causing fatigue. It's getting worse because that's such a great supplement. But find another one, because you need liquid supplementation because you got an absorption problem. Tryptophan malabsorption is not uncommon, but that also means you're not going to absorb zinc, and that also means you're not going to absorb vitamin A, both of which are tremendously important for brain issues and for mental health issues. So you got to find some nutrients that you can take. But in the meantime, we need to get down to the root of things. Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, whatever they want to call it, you got something percolating in the digestive system, in the digestive tract. Now, here's the key to the whole operation, Kevin. Listen up, man. You can't have an intestinal problem unless something is contacting the intestine. And the only things that contact the intestine, for the most part, are foods. So you gotta link the problems to specific foods and then eliminate those foods. Do a food diary, number one. That means you write down everything you eat, and it helps if you pick simple foods, and then write down next to that, draw a line down the middle of your paper, and then next to what you ate, put down your digestive symptoms 2 hours after you eat, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours after you eat. Hang tight, Kevin, because there's a couple really important supplements you're going to want to take for the digestive system, and that's where we really want to be first before we can take care of any other problems. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. All right, we're back on The Bright Side talking to Kevin in Florida. I'm gonna go real fast here, Kevin, because I want to get to a bunch of calls. So first of all, you want to focus on digestive health, eliminate problem foods. Secondly, and by the way, this is for fatigue and mental kinds of things, concentration, etc., for the listeners. So focus on digestive health, eliminate problem foods, do a food diary. Get on probiotics. There's a major link between what's called dysbiosis, messed up probiotics or bacteria in the gut, and mental health issues. There's also a problem with incompletely digested food and mental health issues. So making sure that you're using enzymes, using probiotics, using the Z-Radical, getting on the bioluminite essence. You might want to try the new Beyond Organic products from Jordan Rubin's company, including a couple of fermented products he's got called Amasai and Soluble. Anything with fermented foods, with bacteria, fermented foods in general, sauerkraut, etc., will be very helpful for you, in addition to the Z radical and enzymes and stomach acid. Also, stabilizing the blood sugar is going to be very important when you go into low blood sugar issues. That can cause a problem. That can cause a problem with your thyroid also, and there's a very important connection between fatigue issues and the thyroid. So stabilizing the blood sugar is the next thing that you're going to want to do. That means using more protein and staying away from foods that cause the blood sugar to get messed up. Breads, pastas, potatoes, cereals, you know the drill. Fruit juices, desserts, etc. You might want to use the sweeties from Longevity, which can help you process sugar. And you said you can't take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That's unfortunate. Maybe once you stabilize your digestive problems, you'd be able to take the BTT. But in the meantime, the B vitamins are your brain vitamins. B for brain. The B vitamins are important for all mental health issues. In fact, schizophrenia and autism and other really severe mental health issues can actually be induced by B vitamin deficiency and reduced by supplementing with B vitamins. So if you can't do the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which is stupendously important for B vitamins, make sure you're using a B100 or some kind of B vitamin supplement. Very, very important for the brain. And of course, essential fatty acids are important for brain health also. So lots of things you could do, but most importantly, work on that digestive system and then work on the blood sugar system as well. Thanks for your call, Kevin. Stephanie in California, welcome to the bright side. What's up?
Hey, just chilling. I had a question about, I have lymph nodes in my neck and they've been swollen for about like 5 months or more.
I'm sorry,
I also have had a UTI for like 4 or 5 months, but it goes away, but then every time I eat, like, some kind of sugar just instantly comes back, like, in a normal way.
Then you're diagnosing yourself. You don't need a doctor. You don't even need me. You know, I mean, you could see the connection. When you eat a food, you get a UTI, right? You notice the connection there. And that's what I've been saying here. It's counterintuitive. You say, well, what's a urinary tract infection got to do with food? A lot. Because once you start to throw off the digestive system with the wrong kinds of food, bacterial changes occur, and the UTI, urinary tract infection, is a bacterial problem. So awesome. Congratulations. You know, you get a star for that, because that's a wonderful observation that you made, linking the foods up to the UTIs. I didn't hear what you said about the neck, though. Can you say that slowly?
Oh, I've had, like, lymph nodes, like, they're almost like pearls throughout, and then under my chin, there's, like, these fat sacs, and I've had them for, like, 4 months. And I eat organic, I do the tangy.
Doesn't matter, Stephanie. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It matters what you're not doing. Or it doesn't matter what you're doing correctly. It matters what you're doing incorrectly. So stay on the organic. That's awesome. Stay on the BTT. Stay on the nutritional supplements. But we got to figure out what is getting into your body that's causing this distress. Lymph nodes are a sign that your lymph system, which you could think of like a sewage system, like a circulatory system for wastes, is somehow getting clogged up. That's why the doctor will always check under your neck, in that neck area, to see if your lymph nodes are swollen, because that indicates something is getting into your body that's causing a defensive response. So you got to figure what that is. Now, you're on the right track. You're definitely on the right track with your linking up the sugars to the urinary tract infection. Many people have a problem processing sugar, and this all has to do with the bacteria that are in the gut. So eliminate those problem foods. Always step number one. Are you on the BioLumin Nightly Essence product yet, Stephanie?
No, I'm not.
Get on it. It can make a huge, huge difference for both the lymph as well as for the urinary tract infection and your processing of sugars. Make sure you're, in addition to the BioLumin Nightly Essence, I'd be doing 3 capsules in the morning, 3 capsules at night. Anything fermented is going to be your friend. Fermented beets, kimchi, miso, tempeh, sauerkraut, any kind of fermented food is going to be in your interest. And then also acidification of the digestive tract may help you as well. It sounds like it's possible anyway that you're not breaking down foods correctly, secondary or following deficiencies in stomach acid. So why don't you finish up your meals with apple cider vinegar, and maybe throw in the ultimate enzymes after meals as well. You can also get HCl or betaine HCl capsules, either way, at the health food store, and that can help you too. Worst comes to worst, you can always, not so much for you, Stephanie, but for listeners, you can always have a compounding pharmacist make HCl drops for you. So focus on acidifying the stomach, eliminating problem foods, and using those probiotics. You want want to look at your UTIs and your lymph problems, and you may have other problems too that you're not noticing. You want to look at those as primarily related to incomplete processing of foods in addition to eating the wrong kinds of foods. That's how I would be taking care of that, Stephanie, okay? And the Z-Radical also helps for all digestive issues. Okay.
Cool.
Thanks.
Two, like on the back of my neck, at the base of my skull, I have like 2 lumps. They feel like knots on either side of my spine. And I was wondering if it could be from like sugar, like maybe.
Absolutely. I can't tell you.
Sugar in the past.
It's not so much too much as it is incompletely processing those or not processing them correctly. So it's not the quantity as much as it's the chemistry of it. You know, it's not the number of sugar molecules as much as it is the incomplete processing of them. You understand what I'm saying? So don't think of it as a quantity issue. Think about it as a chemistry issue. You're not breaking them down correctly. It doesn't matter how much you're doing. Even if you just do a little bit, if you're not breaking them down correctly, you can cause a problem. So yeah, quantity may be involved a little bit, but don't focus on that as much as you're focusing on helping your body process them using all the things I just talked about, acidification, apple cider vinegar, digestive enzymes, and probiotics and the Z-Radical, etc. Okay, got to move on, Stephanie. Thank you so much for your call. Hope we helped you out. Okay, let's see. John, you've been holding on forever here. What's going on? John in California.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, sir. How are you? How can we help?
I'm good, and thanks again for sharing your passion.
Thank you.
I have, in the last couple of years, the first knuckle on my fingers have begun to swell, and I'm suspecting rheumatoid arthritis.
Well, it might not be. It might not be rheumatoid. It might be osteo, but it does sound like it's an arthritis, which simply means swelling of the joints. How old are you, John?
I'm 73.
Anything else? I need to hear other things going on. Arthritis, inflammation is a secondary problem, not a primary problem. So I got to hear about weight gain, blood pressure issues, problems with the digestive system, anything.
You know, I'm really quite healthy, and I have had high blood pressure, but I'm controlling that with with supplements and deep breathing and all the stuff that you talk about. But
good for you.
That's I wanted to get the formula for the minocycline that Dr. Wall talks about for acne.
Arthritis?
And I wasn't quite sure. I wanted to try that.
For acne, did you say? John, did you say for acne?
Well, he says the dose for teenage acne is what you do.
Teenage acne dose of minocycline is like something along the lines of 50 milligrams once or twice a day. But here's the thing: if you have arthritis, chances are you're not processing nutrients correctly, right? Now, if you take minocycline, that's just going to compromise the digestive system even more. So why don't we get to the root of the problem? You don't have a minocycline deficiency, right? The problem is not that you have something percolating in your biochemistry, and we want to figure out what that is. Arthritis is nothing more than inflammation of the joints. If it's rheumatoid arthritis, it's caused by an autoimmune problem where your body attacks the joints. And if it's osteoarthritis, it's just a wear and tear issue. Now, you say you have high blood pressure, or have a history of it, but again, high blood pressure is a secondary problem. We're still not getting to the root here. The root is always going to be in the digestive system, and then in the blood sugar, the blood sugar system, and then the thyroid. So we got to focus on where the problem is beginning, and that means you got to get down into the digestive system and also into the blood sugar system. So here's what I'd be doing, John. I mean, if you want to do the minocycline route, I'm actually not sure what Dr. Wallach's protocol is, although I know the acne dose for minocycline is 50 milligrams a day. But what I would really suggest you doing is focus on and try to find, you say you're healthy, and that's great, but at the age of 73, there must be something percolating in the digestive system, because that's just what happens unless you've been completely brilliant and biochemically savvy about taking care of your body. Most of us just aren't. So there's got to be something that you want to find in the digestive system. You guys, it's not like I'm attacking you or you're attacking yourself or you're a bad person when we say focus on digestive health. And it's not like just because you don't know you have a digestive problem that you really don't, because they become hard to find over time. So when you have inflammation, please understand you got to focus first and foremost on digestive system health. Get on the Z-Radical, John. Take digestive enzymes, and the essential fatty acids can also help you, but make sure you use them with your digestive enzymes. I wish we had more time, but we're just flat out. So we'll continue this discussion tomorrow, and we'll also talk about this super amino acid that's got so many wonderful anti-aging and health benefits. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You've been listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll talk to you all later. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Bye for now.